This is BenQ ScreenBar Halo. I'll be unboxing it, setting it up, and giving you my first impression. However, I'm doing all this not for the original intent what the product is really designed for. I have another alternative use for it, and I'm going to share that with you. Let's find out. This is ArtIsRight. Before we start, subscribe if you're new and hit on the bell icon so you'll be notified every time I upload cool new videos like this. I'll leave timestamp to the unboxing and preliminary testing in the description below. If you'd like to skip forward, you can. But before we do that, let me give you a quick background on BenQ ScreenBar. This is a product that is really designed for a majority of BenQ screens that they make, and it's really designed to be used in an office home environment where you want to illuminate the area in front of your display, minimize the contrast between the display and the environment, and also when you want to light that area up, you don't want to have any glare on the display. This is the whole reason why BenQ have designed this ScreenBar product, and it also happens that this is a product that is really great LED with amazing color rendering index quality to it. So BenQ have just released their latest version, the ScreenBar Halo, which is really awesome. So in addition to all those things that this ScreenBar is really designed to do, it also has a couple of other things. For example, it has 3 eye care setting modes, so you can light the area in front of your display, you can light the area on the back of your display, creating more ambient in the room, or you can do both, which is really awesome. And you can see right there the samples on the screen right now, the different environment that BenQ have set this up in as a demo. What makes this really cool is that, like I said, it reduced the contrast in the environment. There's like auto dimming features. There's all these amazing sensors that BenQ put in there. But predominantly, I'm interested in the quality of LED light that it has to offer, and that is another very interesting thing. Now, the thing is this, when you put this on top of your display, you will have around 500 lux of brightness in an area. You can see their projected area right there. You get an idea of how that's going to perform. And it also comes with a wireless intelligent remote control that has a light sensor. But again, we're not really interested in all those. We're interested in the LED itself. What's really cool about this is that the LED light has been upgraded. So this is stepless, meaning that as you change the color temperature from warm to cool, it's not going to do it in steps now. It's just going to do it gradually and smoothly. Same thing with the brightness as well. And like I said, there are 3 different eye care mode. There are smart real-time dimming, which we're not really going to use those. But what's more important about all this thing is that it has an RA value or a CRI value of greater than 95. This is going to be an amazing light that we can use for, guess what? Print viewing as a photographer, because I've always recommended that you use different light source. Go to Home Depot, for instance, get a Cree LED light bulb that's calibrated 5000 Kelvin and has a good CRI value as well. Or for instance, use a studio light that has been calibrated really well, or use an LED light box. I recommend so many different things, but with all of those things that you go out and purchase, there are always variation, and the calibration for them are not necessarily going to be really well because they're not designed as a high-end lighting viewing product, which is the reason why many professionals choose to use the GTI light box. But I think that this is going to be a great alternative to that. So that's pretty much the BenQ ScreenBar. I'm going to quickly show you a specification page. And as I mentioned before, this has a CRI of around 95% or greater, which is really awesome. And the color temperature you can vary this from is 2700 Kelvin to 6500 Kelvin. So, well, let's put my laptop aside and let's unbox this, see what we got on the inside of it. So this is the ScreenBar Halo. It comes in a box like this. We're going to pull it out. And amazingly enough, BenQ have always packaged these really well. I think they have like the outer shell for like shipping, and they have a bag on the inside of it. So if you buy it from the store, you can walk away with the bag. But the bag is assigned to be form-fitting for this. And this is pretty much what the ScreenBar box comes like. This is the ScreenBar Halo. So let's see what you get inside the box. When you open it up, it says, hello, this is Halo. That is pretty much the controller that you see right here, which also has a rotatable ring, so you can rotate to change the brightness, which is really neat. You get the box of documentation. We're going to look at that in just a second. There is the ScreenBar that you see right here, and it has a USB connection to it. We'll pull this out on the side for now. There is a spacer piece. This is to use with a curved display, but because my display is not curved, we're not going to use that. And also 3 AAA batteries to put in the controller right here. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's take the box out and see what we're looking at. Now, I have been using BenQ ScreenBar since the original version for quite some time now with my SW display. Obviously, this display I'm using a demo for, this is SW271C, and if you use a BenQ display with a shading hood, the ScreenBar wouldn't necessarily work on top of it. However, if you are just using the display as is, you're in a lighting control environment, this is going to work just fine. But if you don't have a display, for instance, another thing that you can do is that if you have a boom or something like that, or something you can hang this on, you can certainly have an alternative used that way for the ScreenBar too. All right, let's continue with our unboxing, and then we're going to set this up and talk a little bit more about it. And inside the documentation box, you get a few things. There is a quick start guide, a service information, document for registration, and also this Hello Halo pad. This is used with a curved display along with the spacer to help this align with the curved display really well. Particularly, you would use this pad on the very back here with the curved display, but because our display is straight and this is also like a really soft foam, we don't have to really do that. Okay, so we take a look at the light bar itself. This is pretty much what the light bar looks like. You can see how this can rotate right now. And this is pretty much how you change the angle on the light bar. Inside here are the LEDs that can change color, and it's pretty much just an LED bar as you're seeing at the moment. On the other end of a USB cable, this is a USB Type A. This will go on the SW display just fine. So what we're going to do is let's hang this on the display. And the way how you do that is you just extend this to the back like so. You can see that from the side, it just extends back, and then it just springs back and it latches into the right position. So we're going to do that. And just like that, I already have my ScreenBar Halo on the display. I am going to plug this in on the USB port on the side, and this is going to bring power to the ScreenBar. Now, what I'm going to do next is follow the instruction a little bit, but what we're going to do is put the power and the battery into this controller. All right, so I have the wireless controller set up. Let's see what we can do. Let's power the light on, see if it links up. Awesome. So that's pretty much the way how the light power on. So what I've just done is tap on that power button on the controller. You can see that the light is coming on and off right now. Let's see if I can tap on the controller still. There you go. Tap this to turn off. Tap this to turn on. And we can change a few parameters of this lighting as you're seeing right now. For instance, this is pretty much using the brightness. So let's see if this will correspond to what I want to do. So I'll tap on the brightness and I can change, for instance, the brightness. You can see that this is the lowest, and we can go to, for instance, like the highest brightness right there. Obviously, I'm in a studio lighting environment right now. The brightness, the bright is bright. You're not going to see much of it, but it looks pretty good. This is the color temperature. So this is around probably 2700, and we're going to dial this up all the way, or yep, there you go. So this is the whitest at 6500 Kelvin. You can also do automatic temperature. So this is going to sense the ambient in the room. I'm not going to do that. So let's cancel that out. All right, so I've taken out the auto mode. There's also a favorite mode. For instance, if you find something that you like, a combination of color temperature, for instance, and also, for instance, the combination of brightness, what you can do is press the heart and it will go back to that setting. There is a way to program to it. I don't have this programmed to my favorite setting yet, but this is something that you can do. So what I'm going to do now is set this to the full brightness at the moment. And what I'm going to do is reset the space up a little bit, and we're going to do a print comparison to see if we're just using this ScreenBar to compare the colors of the print that we're seeing from the screen, how close this is going to look. So let's do that. This is my modified setup to test BenQ ScreenBar Halo for printing purposes. So normally the ScreenBar will go on top of the display, and in regular usage circumstances, you would have your image on the display and the print right in front of you. This would not be a problem. However, for this setup, I want you to see the print right next to the display, and it makes it much easier for me to capture these on camera. So I put the ScreenBar Halo on a boom, which is on the light stand. This ScreenBar has been set to 6500 Kelvin, and the brightness or luminance level for this ScreenBar is set at 3 points up from the lowest level. So this is going to provide the illumination for the print, which I'm going to show you in both format. One of them is going to be a semi-gloss from Epson, and the other one is going to be Epson Velvet Fine Art paper. On the opposite end, you will see BenQ SW271C. This has been calibrated using palette master element, Pano native as the RGB primary, D65 as the white point, gamma 2.2, and black point of 0.3. This is the calibration setting that I have been recommending for a very long time. The program that's used to preview the image that you're seeing on the screen right now, this is Lightroom Classic, and I am using soft proofing to load a specific ICC profile that was used to print these images. Paper and ink simulation has also been enabled as well in order to match what you're seeing on the display to the print much better. One more thing I want to mention before I have you continue to look at the result between the display and also the ScreenBar Halo with both semi-gloss and matted print is that perceptually the way how the camera captured these are going to be a little different, because what I'm seeing as a person right now looking at the picture and also the print on the side using a ScreenBar Halo is different than what the camera sees. So a lot of what you're going to see coming up next will be adjusted and edited so that it best represents the human perception or visual responses, not so much just the camera alone. And lastly, the studio light will get them down. Enjoy these comparisons. Based on this initial testing, I can say that BenQ ScreenBar Halo is definitely a light source that you may want to consider adding to your workflow for print proofing. What I can see so far is that the colors that this light can render for my printed image is really close to what I'm seeing on my display. And in many cases, it matches really closely to each other. Obviously, because we are using two different sources of material, one of them being backlit, the other one being reflective, is never going to match 100%. But the whole goal for color management is to minimize that as much as possible. And I think that this light definitely helps out a lot with that. So this is, as I mentioned before, not what BenQ have intended for their lighting design. It's really designed more for like office, regular use, but it works really well in this scenario, especially for an LED light that has a CRI rendering index of greater than 95. I mean, this is definitely something to consider adding to your color managed workflow. If you have any questions or if there's anything specific you want me to test, let me know in the comment section below. Give this a like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you're new, and in art we trust.